here with us this evening. A few months ago, they came and made a wonderful presentation to us. And one of the items that they were in need of was preschool books. So we're able to find those and come up with them. And some of you may have thinking that the city council is finally going to get educated by reading some books. But we probably need it. But it's extremely grateful for their efforts and diligence in trying to assist in building our community. Education is very, very important. It's the pathway to success. And it's very much needed, and I applaud these wonderful community members that spend time and effort to be able to make that happen. So we'd like to invite them up front and also invite our council members to come down so we can have a picture with this fine group. Or would you like to say something, please? Mr. Villarreal, please. Thank you.
Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. On behalf of the Education Council, there's some of our dedicated steering committee members here. We want to thank you for your generous donation. This is Teacher Appreciation Week. We've been going to all the schools and handing out treats and looking to our educators and appreciate them as we have a progress review with the council. We look at various areas, including in learning outcomes and in high school attainment and college attainment. That we know that an educated society helps make our society better. In terms of what they know and what they do bad and what they work and all that. So we're really excited to continue that work forward and we thank the council and the leadership of the public.
Come down.
I love them all. This is so here. This is little boy that I like. Oh, you need it.
Everybody grab a book.
The hardest one. There are no mistakes. Okay.
Grab the book. Grab the whole enchilada.
It's really something.
Oh, we gotta stay a little bit closer.
You got a book? Oh, good. Good.
Thank
Thank you so much.
you.
You got that, brother?
Take them for your coffee. And I grabbed it.
Item number 6, being proclamation. Item A, National Public Works Week. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Douglas, Arizona. And whereas these infrastructure facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas It is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the city of Douglas to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas in the year 2023 marks the 63rd annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Donald C. Jewish, Mayor, and on behalf of the City of Douglas Council, do hereby proclaim the week of May 21 through 27, 2023 as National Public Works Week, and urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies, activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. And then take the time to say, we wouldn't be the city that we are today without them. And I mean that sincerely, because they take care of us. As I've had the opportunity to go out to speak to children throughout the community, they always ask them, do you worry about it when you go and turn on the faucet if you're going to get water? No. I said, well, one of these days I'm going to bring these gentlemen down so you can meet them. And they're the reason why, that you can go out there and you can turn on your water faucet and have every confidence that it's going to be good, clean water. So we can't thank you enough. We have some of our members from our Public Works Department. If you would please stand so we can recognize you at this time. Take a picture of this right down.
Okay, welcome. Not so long ago, guys. Come on in, come on in. Ya te bañaron. They're here with all the poems. Go in there.
Item number 6B, letter carrier stamp out hunger food drive day. Whereas every year on the second Saturday in May, letter carriers across the country collect non-perishable food as part of the nation's largest one-day food drive, distributing the donations to local food banks. And whereas the letter carrier stamp out hunger food drive is just one example of how letter carriers work to make a difference in the lives of those they serve. Since the pilot drive was held in 1991, more than 1.82 billion pounds of food have been collected. And whereas we recognize all letter carriers for their hard work and their commitment to their communities, all of the food collected in our community stays in our community, and we support carriers' efforts to help those in need of our community. And whereas we also recognize the noteworthy milestone of 3 years that the National Letter Carriers Food Drive celebrates in 2023. Now therefore be resolved that I, Donald C. Hewish, Mayor, on behalf of the City of Douglas Council, do hereby proclaim Saturday, May 13, 2023, as Letter Carriers Food Drive Day. And we encourage the citizens of our community to support the food drive by placing non-perishable food items in or near your mailbox on food drive day. Your letter carrier will pick it up while delivering the mail, and together we can all help to feed our hungry. And further, to offer our appreciation and admiration for our local letter carriers for the enthusiasm and unique contribution they are making toward the betterment of this community. I don't know if we have any letter carriers with us this evening, but anyway, when you see them next time, thank them, and again, let's make Saturday a meaningful day for a food drive. Thank you. Item number 7, persons wishing to address the council in writing and verbally on any item not on the agenda. So, do we have anybody?
No, Mr. Mayor, not for this.
Thank you. Support. Item number 8, discussion decision on approval of consent agenda items. Item A, expenditures for the month of April 2023 totaling $2,074,634.02. And B, meeting minutes for March 2022 and April 12, 2023. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Morales.
I move that mayor and council approve consent agenda items as presented.
Is there a second? Second. Motion by Mrs. Morales, second by Mr. Bolanegro to approve the consent agenda items as presented. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lindemann,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Member Montenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Ricardo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, motion carries. Item number 9, discuss and decision on approvals. Item A, first reading of ordinance number 23-1163, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, rezoning 10 parcels of land within the east side addition, block 12 from limited commercial LC to multifamily residential MFR, and amending the official zoning district map, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Mr. People, you want to lead off?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. This item comes to you for first reading after we had a work session over the item and it had been continued for consideration to this meeting. This is rezoning as just background here. This had gone as a recommendation to the planning and zoning committee to rezone 10 parcels of land within the east side addition block 12 from limited commercial to multifamily residential and amending the official zoning district map. When I went to the planning and zoning commission, it came to you last with a denial of that recommendation. And since then, we have heard from many community members. We've heard from the Bias family, many of them usually met with Mr. Ricardo and the Bias family separately, and many other community members as well. And today, with this item, we also received a petition supporting the proposed rezone of these 10 parcels from limited commercial to multifamily residential. So I think it comes to you again after your requested timeframe to study this more. We have staff here to answer specific questions, more technical in nature. Mr. Osborne is here to respond to any of the questions.
Thank you. So we can discuss this, ma'am, a motion to approve the placement of the ordinance.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Shelton.
I move that the mayor and council approve the placement ordinance number 23-1163 when it's first reading by number and title only.
Is there a second? Second. Motion by Mr. Shelton, second by Mr. Bolanegro to approve the placement of ordinance number 23-1163 on its first reading by number and title only. We'll take questions and comments from the council first, because I know we have members of the audience that would also like to address this issue. So, members of the council?
Mayor,
Yes, please, Mr. Howard.
I want to thank the Bias family and Mr. Ricardo because in this 1 month, well, at least I got more information on this. So the first thing that we need to really put out there is, just as it says here, it's limited commercial. So he could have built a business there, no problem, because the city gave him a permit to, he wants to build residential. And I think that's important because of the complaints that came in were trash, noise. That's, you know, if you have commercial there, it's gonna be more trash, more noise. Maybe if you have a gym or something, that's gonna be more noise, so it's gonna be really elevated from the worries from what the worries were from a multifamily to a limited commercial. We also found out that there's, I think, 4 parcels that are residential that are actually zoned commercial in the limited commercial, so that presents a problem. So that's very unique. I want to thank everybody because I also talked to the individuals who are against this, and they brought up good points, but I think this is why the council needs more information, and I'd like to just, you know, maybe, I don't know if it could be a direction for staff that when something like this comes up in a planning and zoning, give us a week to get this information. It should have come around the next day because then we don't know what's going on. Not all the information is going to be presented. But as it states here, that, you know, the Bias family and Mr. Dado can make limited commercial right now, but they want to make residential. And there's consequences or and either or. So again, I just want to thank everybody involved and here also make a discussion with them. Well, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Goodall. Bring up a good point for especially issue that be controversial or matter of different opinions. It would be nice to have them. And that's why we hate to delay this. So that's a great point. Anyone else from the council?
Mayor, I just want to
Yeah,
know,
please.
I just want to know the fact that zoning commission got the board then again, after our meeting last month. No?
No. You want to bring that?
City planner Will Osborne, the planning and zoning commission met on March 21st, and they made their recommendation after the closing of the public hearing. Staff recommendations been presented as for approval, but the planning and zoning commission recommended denial based on the testimony that they had received. But they have not met since.
So Mr. Osborne, after reviewing everything that the council has and the biases and the people that fought fighting us, with changing our code enforcement, was this input multi-family?
If this ordinance to be approved, then multi-family residential or single-family residential could be developed in block 12. Right now, it's not allowed by the commercial zoning district, and as Councilmember Hall said, bias, that's what the issue too about the potential for developing commercial. That they could develop a small commercial structure in block 12. At least in their market, I think it's a bias.
All over to the public.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Edmund, please.
Thank you. After doing all this research, I'm thinking that staff recommended approval of this because it went with our general plan. And also it goes with the character of the neighborhood. And so I would like to see anything that was built, be built in the character of the neighborhood. And nothing can stick out and single family or something like that. That would be my opinion. But I really want to encourage the staff, they're the professionals, and they recommended approval. So I would think that's where you would. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edmund.
Mayor,
Yes, please, Ms. Morales.
I just want to thank Mr. Bias and his wife and Mr. Bell for being with me. They did provide us some information, and I think it is important to have, like, multi-family residences in that area. So I'm very happy to see you. Thank you again.
Thank you. Anyone else from the council?
And
Yes, please, Mr. Shelton.
I agree with Mr. Morales, and I think the staff has, come up with a good recommendation, and I'm appreciated Paez's and a couple of other people I've talked to and their wants or their likes, what they think should be done. So I'm in favor of this.
Thank you. We have some members of the public that would like to speak on this issue, please. We'd love to hear from them. Thank you. First, we have, Ana Tarea Ballesteros. Welcome, Ms. Ballesteros.
So first, I'm here as a concerned member of our community, and I am one of the, my husband and I are here obviously because it affects our home is in that, block 12. And so our concern came, like we just came over because I just came over this yesterday. When we were informed of the rezoning. And so obviously the concern is, you know, what impact this would have to our family. And so that's one thing, like, you know, how would that affect our future? You know, refinancing or selling our home or, you know, that is our family. And so I don't have a lot of information on that person, so I don't know anything about building businesses, but I do know this, you know, I have found loans and, you know, I have, you know, think, consider how that would impact our families as well. And there were other homes there before we built our home there, so we never thought this would come. Remember, you know, 17 years later, and these other homes were there before we even know. So that's the concern. And so yes, there's a consensus. Yeah, we can consider the families that are already and have already been there for many years.
Thank you, Ms. Ballesteros. Thank you, Ms. Ballesteros. Next, we have, Mr. Mario Medina. Mr. Medina, please. Welcome, Mr. Medina.
Thank you. And I live in a commercial, when we bought the house 3 years ago, they never told us about that, that was a limited commercial area, so. Anything we try to do in that home, like try to get a permit wise, they ain't gonna let us do anything, basically if it's a limited commercial, because it's not residential. But I'm all for it, trying to do a multi-family zoning area. I was here previous to rezoning, but unfortunately I had to leave at the meantime. So, you know, the way I look at it is, it's a benefit for everybody if you actually do change it to a multi-family zoning. In a long way, and all you can do is just go ahead and kind of put it that way for everybody. I mean, that you look at all the families that live on that area right now that can't benefit of actually trying to sell their home, but they decide to move or go on to retire, and they can't do nothing. All you gotta do is sit on the house, and what are they gonna do? They ain't gonna benefit any of us now, not even the city of Douglas. So, my opinion, I'm all for it, they wanna do it.
Thank you, Mr. Medina. Appreciate that. Next, we have, Mr. Arvin Hurtado. Mr. Hurtado, there he is.
Good evening, everyone. Let's not forget, Feliz Dia de las Madres. Pretty much, I want to thank you guys for meeting with me. I think it's really important for me. You guys all know, like I talked to you in the meetings. I bought this property as well. Okay, I'm an owner. I didn't know it was limited commercial, like Mr. Medina said. Here in front of me. We can't do everything. We can't do anything there. We can't do refinance. I can't build a truck. I can't do anything there. It's pretty much simple. I support the multifamily. It's gonna help me out. I have a big building. You know, it just makes sense. It makes sense for me, for my family, for retirement. And I bought this property about 4 years ago, maybe a little more. And I haven't built anything on it. It's been my personal property. I've been using it as storage. But whether I do limited commercial, multi-family, single family, whatever I said to do, I still gotta respect my neighbors. All of them. I haven't had one complaint yet, noise wise, trash wise, I did, okay, right here. But it's because the lots are empty. A lot of that trash comes from Food City and all that stuff. I've talked to the people in front of me, and they were giving the information that it was gonna be government housing. That it was gonna be government housing, that if they signed the paperwork, that nothing was gonna be built there. Okay, that's what their understanding was. I talked to them and I said, look, this is gonna be multi-family, it's gonna be nice. We showed them what our plans were. I told them I'm gonna be the owner, pride of ownership here. Okay, that's what we're doing. They're not dealing with a company from New York, and let's just do government housing, Section 8, whatever, and they're done. Whether it's, whatever's built there, we all have to respect. That's why there's the law. We're all law-abiding citizens. The trash, the noise, whether it's in the commercial, we all have to respect it. I just want to remind you real quick, we got some signatures. I know, Shelton, last meeting, you got 12 signatures, and I think you based it off of that, but we have a 25 signatures, 24 signatures here, and then you have them there. But again, you guys are in this position to help Doug us out, to help us out, to help a lot of family members that are in violation. Our opposition right now, they're not in violation of anything. They could go home and they could refinance, do whatever they want. They have multi-family, you know, and it's beautiful. And I would actually like to speak to the people who have those multi-family that are against us building it to make it better for us. See what can we do? Why were they so successful? So it could help us out. Another thing that I mentioned to you guys, give us a stipulation. Tell us what, if they don't want government housing, let's not do government housing. Okay, so thank you very much. Jesus, 20 more seconds. But anyways, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Carlos. Next, we have Claudia Hernandez. Ms. Hernandez, please. Welcome.
Mi nombre es Claudia y yo tengo casi 24 años viviendo ahí. Y cuando construyeron, a mí me entendieron que era comercio. Ahorita pues, como dicen todos, pues podemos vender, financiar, y pues nos perjudica a nosotros, no a la calle 3, allá. A nosotros nos perjudica, nosotros somos esa área. Entonces yo ahí mis hijos crecieron mis hijos, y pues yo no puedo con mis amigos, ¿qué voy a hacer en el futuro? Entonces a mí me gustaría mirar que Douglas crezca, que se mire bonito. Enfrente de mi casa construyeron un departamento y se mira muy bien. Era un lote y ahora se mira muy bonito. Y si construyen allá departamentos multifamily, también se va a mirar muy bien. Yo no miro por qué no, pero sí nos perjudica a nosotros que seamos comercio. Entonces a mí me construyeron, supuestamente yo con mi idea de que era cambio o multifamily, y ahorita salí, me dijeron que no, que era comercio. Entonces, pues no estoy de acuerdo. A mí me gustaría que sí se construyera multifamily.
Mr. Mayor, we have also seen if she can help us with the translation.
Please.
Perdón,
No,
es que mi inglés no es muy bueno.
no, está bien. No se preocupe, no hay problema.
Okay, so this is Claudia Hernandez. She's a resident. She's owned her home there for 24 years, and she was not aware that it was limited commercial. She says that not approving the rezone to multifamily is putting homeowners like herself at risk to refinance, to sell, to do anything with the home in the future. She says that she's seen other areas that have multifamily housing and it makes the area look better. It's very nice housing. It's not going to make the neighborhood look shoddy or in any worse condition. And so she is in favor of approving the rezone to multifamily.
Thank you. Gracias. Next, we have Nadia Baez. Baez.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Nadia Báez y solo vengo a apoyar todo el proyecto que tiene mi esposo para ustedes. Nos lo pudimos presentar casi a cada uno de ustedes y solamente que pues queremos seguir construyendo aquí en Douglas, queremos dar más housing para más familias que lo necesitan y pues también ayudar a todas estas personas que están afectadas, que están viviendo ya en una área comercial, poderlos ayudar para que este rezoning pues pueda ya quedar en orden y no tengan más problemas.
She's Nadia Baez. She's Mr. Baez's wife, and she is here for Mr. Baez's projects to do multifamily housing. She says that there's a need for more housing here in Douglas, and they're trying to develop and do more projects to provide more housing for those that need it. And also to help the people that have homes that were built in the limited commercial zone unknown to them, so that they don't have problems in the future.
Esto, gracias.
Gracias.
Thank you, señor.
Next, we have Mr. Nicolas Castillo. And I understand you can explain to us, Mr. Castillo, that you're representing a group of citizens that asked you to speak.
Yes, Ms. Alma, she's my neighbor.
Please.
And my.
If you need it, Mr. Castillo, you can have a couple extra minutes because you're speaking on behalf of others.
Thank you. Nicolas Castillo, 2001 East 13th Street. Seems like you guys already, or city council, already voiced your support of Mr. Osborne's recommendation and his staff, correct? So I might be talking to the wind here, but nevertheless, I'd like to go on record, please. You keep talking about Mr. Grijalva last meeting said something's gonna be built there, either residential or commercial. He says, these people don't understand that. Give us some credit. We went to school. What we don't want is multifamily. What we want is single family zone. We understand something has to be built there, right? So allow single family to continue being built there. The momentum is already there. The opposite side, on the 12th Street side, it's already houses there. Okay, there's already one on the corner. It was supposed to be a house. Now they're changing it. Well, no, it's gonna be commercial. It's gonna be this. No, it looks like it was gonna be a house. Somebody could have stopped that because it was LC zone, right? So there isn't two options. It isn't just multifamily or commercial. There's three: multifamily, single family, or limited commercial. And what we want to see being built there is single family. The way the rest of the block is, the way those empty lots have been built, all they had illegally according to Mr. Osborne, because it was zoned for LC, right? Who approved it? Somebody at city council had to approve it, or not the council, excuse me, but the city of Douglas. So let's continue with that momentum. It looks nice, and that's what we want. Single families continue. It's only a few lots. You know, there's so much contention over just a few properties there, that if they were to continue with single family, it would appease us with the peace, tranquility that we as residents of 13th Street want. There's nothing wrong with single family residences. They can live there or they can rent them out. They can still make money. And it would improve our neighborhood. Okay? Don't make it sound like it's either multifamily or limited commercial. No. On the city council meeting, March 22nd, Mr. Osborne, and I'll try to play you the video, but like I said, I'm probably talking against opposition. He stated that the Planning and Zoning Commission of Douglas had denied the request for multifamily housing. He went on to state that limited commercial was, in his words, not feasible. Why? Because of setbacks, because of parking, because of landscaping. Those are his words. Okay, so it's not feasible according to him. He's a city planner. So there's only one option? No, there's two options there: multifamily or single family. And we've already stated our opposition and why we're opposed to multifamily. Okay, now we say let them rezone the place, the area, as single family, and they can continue to build or remodel whatever they're doing. And they can either rent and make money or move in if they want. Okay? It's not just two options, Kevin. Single family is still in there. That whole area is single family zone. Continue with that single family zone. Don't change, the equation there. If we go back to February, Mr. Osborne presented a so-called innovative overlay plan. And that section of our block was included in it. And what I heard troubled me. He said that that area was gonna be allowed. Those homes were gonna be allowed to stay there, because he said they were built illegally, but they were gonna stay there. But the rest of the area there that we're talking about, they were gonna be allowed to build commercial. They were gonna be allowed to build multifamily. They were gonna be allowed to transform their home to a home business if they wanted to. If they wanted to build a two-story business, they could do that. He even said, quote, they could even build a strip mall if they want. I go, really, a strip mall in that area? I mean, there's no consideration apparently for the neighborhood, He doesn't live there. Do any of you live on 13th Street, gentlemen? Ma'am, I don't think so. How would you like to be neighbors to a business or a apartment complex? I don't think you'd like it if you're honest, okay? So that's our position. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Any other questions or comments from the council? Yes, please, Mr. Redmond.
And to my understanding, multifamily doesn't include single family. Where?
The Oswald City Planner, that is correct. And to put it into context, the comments that you were given on my behalf. I stated that each of those parcels taken separately couldn't be developed for the commercial because of the setback requirements. If they were agglomerated or gathered together, then they could. And that's the context, the value.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton. Oh, I'm sorry.
I would like,
Hold on.
okay,
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to also say that, the staff and Mr. Osborne have done a really good job with trying to strengthen our community, because this has happened in any part of the community, and it's a region and it goes back to when I was in the P and Z all those years ago. And so now we're trying to, at the overlay, trying to straighten up, but in the past was help yourself. When you didn't really follow any rules. So now we want to track that on without causing all the disruption or making people think they're there and how we do it. So I want to just thank you for that. I would still again say that whatever is built there, I would like to see within the character of the existing neighborhood.
Thank you.
Single family. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Redmond. Mr. Shelton, please.
so, Mr. Osborne. If we do go multi-family, they could put single-family residence there.
That's correct.
Thank you.
I would like, I don't know if I can, I think I'm in proper order here. I like to amend. Going from, can we do that now?
After the
Discussion,
motion on the floor is for the placement of the ordinance by number and title only. That's what's on the floor right
okay. We can amend it
now. I don't know what we'd amend it to.
from
Because it's,
multi-family to single family.
but it's just the placement of the ordinance by,
Oh, okay.
so that's,
Okay.
we got another motion to come after that.
And we can do that.
So I'll seek the advice of the attorney, I guess. Mr. Please, Mr. Grau.
To sort of to Mr. Shelton's point, if we do, let's say we go that route. Then we could get the individuals that want to build multifamily to say, we don't want to build single family. Then just, and if it doesn't pass right now, like I said, they can technically still build limited commercial. So, it's, you know, it's a really sticky situation that we're trying to fix on the city's behalf. This isn't, you know, really the pros fault or the con, or the ones that are against it. It's the city's, you know, fault that this happened many, many years ago and we're trying to fix, so. Again, just because we can just amend it to single family doesn't mean that the people who own that property want it to be single family. And technically they can still build commercial, so, it's not as easy as it may sound. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Montenegro, did you have something?
I just want to know if they do build multifamily, does it change from light commercial to residential now? I'm in a new code.
If the property is rezoned and it's adopted by council, 30 days after that, they can file an application for multifamily because the properties will have changed their zoning. They will no longer be included in commercial, so there won't be commercial development there, but there could be multifamily or single family.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Please, sir, please. Please identify yourself.
Sure. Daniel Waisteros, I'm the resident there. I just want to make this thing short. There's already 4 or 5 houses there. The city already signed a permit to build it. If you guys don't know, you guys are gonna put it in a big problem. Just think of that. I don't know what this man was saying about multi-family or apartment or whatever. There are 4 houses already there. So you guys, whatever you guys want, just think of that.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Okay, oh, please.
Hello, my name is Jessica. I actually own the house 1906 12th Street. And we recently found out that we're considered the limited commercial. We do have a single house. We actually bought it from the one of the building it. There's, Jerry, yeah, so all the permits were made because we all thought it was residential. So I am for multi or single family either way, because I do own them. As of right now, like my husband was saying, we can't do anything. We can't add any more things if we wanted to. We can't build on, we can't do anything. It's very difficult. I do understand the ones that live on 13, they don't want to see anything. But a multi-family home, it's still single family, it's 2 houses together, that's what they need to understand too. So I am for it.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, anyone else?
Yeah, I'd like to make one comment.
Yes, please.
No matter what we do, it's either going to be multi-family or could possibly be single family. You're not gonna have to worry, as far as I'm concerned, about it being commercial anymore. It's gonna be corrected.
Thank you. The motion on the floor is to approve the placement of ordinance number 23-1163 on its first reading by number and title only. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Grijalva,
Yes.
Councilmember Montenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes,
Councilmember Lindemann,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, motion carries.
an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, rezoning 10 parcels of land within the east side addition lot 12 from limited commercial to multi-family residential and amending the official zoning district map. Establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. Now, a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance number 23-1163.
Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Morales.
I move that mayor and council approve the first reading of ordinance number 23-1163 and place it on its second reading by number and title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Morales, second by Mr. Grijalva. To approve the first reading of ordinance number 23-1163 and place it on its second reading by number and title only. Any questions or discussion?
now can I make that amendment? And we'd have to vote on it?
Would you allow me to ask our city attorney to make sure what you would recommend? Mr. Fitzgibbons, the question by Mr. Shelton is that motion to amend to switch it from multifamily to single family would be allowed at this time.
I don't believe it. Let me shut, I have too many computers on. I don't believe it can be at this time, because the application is for multifamily. Inside the multifamily zoning district, there can be single family, two family, multifamily. But I'm not sure, I think what Councilmember Shelton is asking is actually to limit the zoning that we're gonna place on this property. And I don't think we can do that at this point. I think the application is multifamily. If the council doesn't want to do multifamily and want them to come back and do single family, they need to file a new application and come back and do single family.
Thank you. Does that make sense? Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call please.
Councilmember Alejandra.
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro.
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton.
I guess we'll have to say yes.
Councilmember Lindemann.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, motion carries.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, rezoning 10 parcels of land within the East Side Addition Block 12 from limited commercial to multifamily residential and amending the official zoning district, establishing several written components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. By way of reference for information, this will come back for a second reading at our June regular meeting, which is the second Wednesday of June. Item number 9B, second reading of ordinance number 23-1165, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the sale of 5 vacant parcels of land on block 2 of Rancho La Parrilla Estates with assessors parcel number 410-08-13505, 410-08-15204, 410-08-15101, 410-08-07-803, and 410-08-14504 to Saptile LLC pursuant to terms entered into by the parties establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Mr. Kingo, please.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. You approved several 2 months back, the one and only bid from Santa for these 5 vacant lots which were donated last fall to the city of Douglas by Richard and Jefferson. We went through a first reading already. The business of Santa LLC plans to build homes in this area, and we have a sale price of $5,000 for each parcel, the total of $25,000. And so the developer is planning to build the vacant parcels and add infrastructures with property taxes and additional home drive to benefit the city of Douglas. Staff recommends approval of the second reading.
Thank you, ma'am. A motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 23-1165.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Shelton.
I move the mayor and council approve the second reading of ordinance number 23-1165 by number and title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Shelton, second by Mr. Valdenegro to approve the second reading of ordinance number 23-1165 by number and title only. Any questions or comments?
Mayor,
Yes, please, Mr. Valdenegro.
these lots are not approved. So,
There's some active lots with all utilities in there.
Any other questions?
I see that
Yes, Mr. Shelton.
somebody is starting to get the hint of what's about to happen in Douglas, and so they're getting first dibs on some good property to build on.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton. I have a question regarding, is there any restrictions or for time to build on these lots, or is it open?
There are not really any restrictions. That is part of the sale and
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lindsey,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes,
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Ricardo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales. Yes. Mr. Mayor.
Yes, motion carries.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the sale of 5 vacant parcels of land on block 2 of Rancho La Feria Estates with assessor parcel number 410-08-13505, 410-08-15204, 410-08-15101, 410-08-07803, and 410-08-14504 to Sato LLC pursuant to terms entered into by the parties establishing severability of the ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. Item number 9C, discussing decision on approval of first reading of ordinance number 23-1168. An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, levying upon the assessed valuation of the property within the city of Douglas, subject to taxation, a certain rate upon each $100 of valuation sufficient to raise the amount estimated to be required in the annual budget and providing funds for general municipal expenses, all for the fiscal year ending the 30th day of June 2024, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Mr. Martinez, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Every fiscal year, the city of Douglas is required to adopt its annual property tax levy. And submit it to the county board of supervisors. And I believe that's by the 3rd week in August that we have to do this process. Our primary assessed valuation for the city came in at a little bit over $61 million. That's a $3 million increase compared to last year. So what staff is proposing is to decrease our tax rate on these on property tax and reduce it to 1.1147, which is what is before you. That is a reduction from 1.1591, which was the rate last fiscal year. That will keep our revenue stream very consistent to what we got last year. As a matter of fact, it will increase overall a little bit over $12,000 compared to last fiscal year, but yet we're reducing the actual rate per $100 for the property tax.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. May I have a motion for the placement of the ordinance?
Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Morales.
I move that mayor and council approve the placement of ordinance number 23-1168 on its first reading by number and title only.
Is there a second? Motion by Ms. Morales, second by Mr. Lindeman to approve the placement of ordinance number 23-1168 on its first reading by number and title only. Any questions or discussion?
Mayor,
Yes, please, Mrs. Morales.
this this affects property owners,
Correct, this is exclusively on property.
so how much will this affect these property owners?
Well,
Reduction, correct?
the rate for $100 of valuation will go down to 1.1147 compared to last year. Now, there was an increase overall for our tax valuation to the city of $3 million, mostly due to new construction. It really, it's on a case basis, depends on what your valuation came in as a homeowner for your particular property. But the actual rate per $100 of valuation will go down.
So the citizen may or may not see a decrease. Because if you're like myself, my assessed valuation went up. So still gonna pay a little bit more, but it's been the policy of this council and this administration to lower what we can as far as taxes. And so this is our effort to try to do that. So more than likely, the bottom line is you're gonna see your property tax go up, but it's not because we didn't make an effort to try to keep it low. And that's what I applaud to the staff and council for setting that priority to be able to make that happen.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, plus I also see that, you know, the possibility of a little college that sits outside of town may raise their rate a little bit. I don't know where that would be. Yes, Mr. Lemon, please.
Thank you, I was just gonna bring that up. Our taxes are not only, state. And, BUSD actually has gone down. So on that, the school taxes. Has gone down. That's good. But it's the other entities do tend to go up. Thank you. This question.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mayor?
Yes, please, Mr. Grijalva.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez, and it's good news, when we grow as a city, then we can start lowering the tax bills only, so this is great news because we're expecting growth. And we're expecting more people to come in here, the more the people that we get in here, the more we can lower. So thank you, I know that, I know you don't like that, the more we can lower, but, I mean, that's the, that's the incentive, I guess, to have in city growth.
Thank you, Mr. Grijalva. Any other discussion? Question? Hearing none, roll call please.
Councilmember Lindemann,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Calva,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, motion carries.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, levying upon the assessed valuation of property within the city of Douglas, subject to taxation, a certain rate upon each $100 of valuation sufficient to raise the amount estimated to be required in the annual budget, and providing funds for the general municipal expenses, all for the fiscal year ending the 30th day of June 2024. Establishing several components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. Now a motion to approve the first reading of the ordinance.
Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Morales.
I move that mayor and council approve the first reading of ordinance number 23-1168 and to place it on second reading by number and title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Morales, second by Mr. Shelton. To approve the first reading of ordinance number 23-1168 and to place it on second reading by number and title only. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call please.
Councilmember Grijalva,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Lindemann,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, motion carries.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, levying upon the said valuation of the property within the city of Douglas, subject to taxation, a certain rate upon each $100 of valuation sufficient to raise the amount estimated to be required in the annual budget, and providing funds for the general municipal expenses, all for the fiscal year ending the 30th day of June 2024. Establishing several components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. Item number 9D, discussing decision on resolution number 23-1547, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, approving the community development block grant CDBG annual action plan for fiscal year 2023 for the city of Douglas. Ms. Gonzalez, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. We held a public hearing immediately prior to the meeting, so I'm just going to do a brief summary. The city of Douglas is a CDBG entitlement community. The CDBG grant requires a consolidated plan for every 5-year cycle, as well as an annual action plan for every year of that cycle being prepared and submitted to HUD for approval. The plan, along with all required documents, must be received by HUD in 45 days in advance of the start of our fiscal year. So we must submit this on or before May 16th. Total amount of CDBG funds allocated for fiscal year 2023 are $165,619. Staff is recommending that these funds be used towards infrastructure improvements to include installation and or replacement of sewer line along North Rogers Avenue from East Applewhite Drive to 20th Street. And staff is requesting approval for the Hawaiian plan, so we can add another part of the documents to that.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the resolution?
There.
Yes, please, Mr. Valdenegro.
I move that the mayor comes to resolution number 23-1547.
There's a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Valdenegro, second by Mr. Grijalva to approve resolution number 23-1547. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call please.
Councilmember Linderman,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton.
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilmember Ricardo.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales. Yes. Mr. Mayor.
Yes, the motion carries. Item number 9E, discussion decision on resolution number 23-1548. A resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the city manager to execute a renewal to the intergovernmental agreement between the city of Douglas and Cochise College to provide reliable passenger transportation services to college riders, combining resources to continue to promote educational opportunities and foster economic development in the city of Douglas. Yes, please.
The Douglas Cochise College campus, originally entered into 4 years ago. The total campus price that will be paid at the college for the fiscal year 2023-2024 is $26,000. This is an increase of $1,000 from the prior year. And this is due to increased operational and fuel costs. The college wishes to continue to subsidize the cost of the college riders, whether it's going to be Douglas or share it. There will be no change to the discounted fares and passes. The college will continue to set its passes in the campuses and verify current student enrollment. The fares stay the same, 25 cents per ride for Douglas and busy riders going to the Douglas campus, 50 cents per ride for riders going to or share at the campus. The semester class, 300 for Douglas, busy riders going to the Douglas campus, and $40 from the semester pass going to share at the campus. Typically, the city performs 4 trips daily or Monday to Thursday. They're published from Douglas and 2 trips daily from Disney. The city is able to accommodate the request with the existing resources. For the last year, 2022, Douglas reported 9,291 college riders to the Douglas campus. And Cochise Connection reported 1,644 riders stopping at the Sierra Vista Cochise College campus, and 2,808 riders at the Douglas Cochise College campus.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion to approve the resolution? Yes, please, Mr. Bogdan.
I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 23-1548.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Baldino, second by Mr. Shelton to approve resolution number 23-1548. Any questions or comments?
Mayor?
Yes, please, Mr. Grove.
I just wanted to thank Mr. J.D. Rottweiler and some guy named Dave via the others in the front row because they're always looking out for our community. And this incentivizes our constituents to go to college. It gives them the transportation over there. Not only that, it gives the college students the transportation over here. So it's a great relationship, and I really appreciate that they're looking out for not only our constituents, but also their students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grove. Well said. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Morales.
Where can you get a ride for 25 cents? So it's great.
This way the devil. That's it. Yes, please, Mr. Baldino.
Sir, do we have posted times of when you pick up for the college? Pardon me? Do we have a scheduled time for the college?
I can provide it to you, but I will have the schedule.
We're under signage for we pick up suits.
Yeah, and you can go to our offices at the business center or the post at the transit bus stop shelters, or you can go online.
And the college also gives it out to them when they purchase it.
As a college.
So new residents coming to the area. We have to put them at our bus stops and things like that, signage.
Which I believe we do.
Yeah.
And, right. And our website. Yeah. Thank you. Good question. Anyone else? Hearing none, roll call please.
Councilmember Ricardo.
Yes.
Councilmember Valdez.
Yes.
Councilmember
Yes.
Shelton. Councilmember Linderman.
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales. Yes. Mr. Mayor.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 10, discussing decision to call for and conduct an executive session in the authority of ARS 38-431.03 subsection A3, 4, and 7 to consider its position, instruct its representatives, and obtain legal advice regarding updates related to the sale of vacant land around the Douglas Municipal Airport. May I have a motion to enter into executive?
I make a motion to go to executive session.
Is there a second? Second. Motion by Mr. Sheldon, second by Mr. Bolanegro to enter into executive session. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed by name? The ayes have it. We're going to executive session at 7:08 P.M. Yeah. Drop me at this one, I'm fine. Everybody's here. We have a motion to adjourn the executive session. Yes, Ms. Morales. There's a second. Second. Motion by Ms. Morales, second by Mr. Shelton to adjourn executive session. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
I.
Any opposed, nay? The ayes have it. Go back in the regular session at 7:46. Item number 11, update on executive session item number 10 regarding the sale of the property surrounding the airport. We've instructed staff to continue discussions with the current party that what do we call them? Potential buyer, thank you. That has been approved previously for further discussion to bring back at a future meeting for the second reading. Item number 12, manager reports, Mr. Keaton.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Two items here for this month. I will be out of town on Thursday and Friday attending meetings relating to the ending of Title 42 coming up. Effective at midnight on Thursday this week marks the end of Title 42, and that this Court of Entry will begin processing migrants seeking asylum. They anticipate processing up to 35 per day, and we have been informed that 35 will be released into the community each day. Those are approximate numbers. It's a very fluid situation, and we continue to monitor and have communication ongoing with all of our stakeholders regarding this situation. In addition to that, the Border Patrol Tucson sector continues to prepare for the end of Title 42, and the safety of agents and migrants in their care remains paramount. They are ensuring safety measures as current decompression measures are close to exhaustion. Migrants whose processing is complete through the Border Patrol are being released to the closest community at or near transportation nodes. Douglas, as of this week, is now a transportation node in Pima County, and the State Emergency Services Department are working in collaboration to provide transportation to migrants to Tucson twice per day. These transports are going to Casa Amigas of Tucson, and they have a capacity, from my understanding, of about 800. It's the approved NGO under the Tucson sector that is currently delivering migrants there. Because it's so fluid, I have been informed today that the Tucson sector alone currently has approximately 3,100 in custody throughout their sector. They do continue to coordinate with local entities, but expect that these non-custodial releases will reach 100 plus beginning tomorrow. And so I've been sending you information daily. Sometimes in the morning it's 42, by the evening 68. But expecting tomorrow, they do have additional buses, up to 3 buses will be coming in tomorrow to be able to transport. But the issue, because it remains so fluid, continues to be monitored, because once Casa Amigas reaches capacity and it doesn't continue to flow through to move migrants to their destination, it may provide a different issue for us to consider. So as an additional effort, Chief Poland of the Douglas Police Department is leading an effort in the community to collaborate with our faith communities to provide backup services to migrants that may be released into the community without any means or resources of any kind. These services could be the short-term sheltering, transportation coordination, food, essentials, and first aid. Available volunteers which may be interested could reach out to the Chief Poland or the first representative. Mary Hewitt and Chief Poland did attend meeting today with Governor Hobbs in Sierra Vista regarding the latest on this issue, and they may have more information in the American report on the. That's my title on Title 42. I also want to share a little bit on downtown streetscape. So we, staff has been exploring our new engagement platform this year to enable survey overrides for community members to complete downtown street surveys before we expanded our available options. So we are hearing the comments on, there's only 3 choices and we've added choices to them. The way the engagement platform works is new to us and we're trying to look for ways to salvage the surveys because we have been getting quite a bit. But at the same time, make sure that everyone knows that they have 2 additional options. So every registered participant in the system has received an email. And for those that have part before the options were expanded, offering them the opportunity to submit a change of their vote directly via email or by calling in. We also will extend the survey period to ensure that the community considers all options. And the survey will go beyond the May 11th initial date that was provided. The goal here is really to present Mayor and Council with community engagement and feedback. We encourage all comments, all suggestions, and there is no attempt to favor any concept of grandmother. We only aim to promote widespread community input. For those individuals that submitted a paper survey, they will also be given an opportunity to make a change if they choose. Due to the timeline for utility bill distribution, the paper survey did not have the additional options. It had gone out already by that time. However, those who utilize the QR code on the paper survey were able to see the modifications and register with those options. Also, I have a port of entry update for Douglas Commercial Port of Entry. Great news was received this week from Mexico. The diplomatic note that we have been waiting for from Mexico was delivered to the U.S. Department of State regarding the agreement of mutual construction of our Port of Entry, and we have the GSA staff today in the meeting reported that they have reviewed the diplomatic note. It includes schematics and other reports, preliminary drawings that were really what they were needing. It's a huge win for the project. What it does is it focuses more for GSA to engage with Mexico on the technical details to go over alignment of what the Port of Entry is still needing. Our stakeholders and engineers and architects continue to meet every 3 weeks. So this project is moving along. As far as community calendar items, a town hall meeting on this Thursday, tomorrow, May 11, 5:30 to 6:30 here at City Hall to hear thoughts on downtown street update or get updates on many of the projects. Douglas Day this weekend. Join us for fun and celebration at Castro Park on Friday night and on Saturdays. Schedule of events is on our website. And community conversation, Legacy Foundation celebration of 10 years of giving will take place at Douglas Park on May 22nd from 6 to 7:30.
Thank you, Mr. Gill. Item number 13, information items and reports from council on future agenda item requests. Mr. Gerald.
Thank you. Commodities this Monday. I'd also like to thank the Douglas Educational Partnership Council and Cochise College. The past 3 days, Cochise College was generous enough to buy a sheet cake for the schools for teacher appreciation, and the city supplied the coffee. And they were very appreciative of the generosity, but more importantly, the charter schools and the private schools. And I think, I hate to say it, but I don't think we sort of remember them enough when we have activities. We usually partner up with the district, but I think we need to be appreciative of these schools because they're hardworking, especially Omega, CAS, PepTech. I mean, what they do with their students is very impressive. And I think we should partner up with them more, see what we can do. And again, I want to thank the city for those books. We will put them for good use. I'm a member of the Educational Partnership Council. That's why we would put the for those things. So I want to thank everybody that was involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gerald. Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, please, Mr. Shelton.
Tomorrow night, Ms. Morales and I are going to have a city hall meeting and try to get not only are wards up to date on what's happening, but anybody else that would like to attend. Some of the things we're going to hit on will be the port of entry. Maybe just sort of a brief schedule of what is happening there. Then annexation of different parts of Douglas. There's a plan out. The Bayless building, I know I've had a lot of people say that nobody's there. Well, we'll update everybody on that situation there. Then we have many other things to bring about. The Border Air Museum, what our plans are there. The selling of the La Brea apartments and the revitalization of downtown, the revitalization and helping out at the golf course. Then once again, the airport, sort of a briefing on it, a briefing on the airport runway and funds that we've received and what's happening there. And then the revitalization of downtown and what's happening there. So those people that are maybe listening out there, if you can come at 5:30 tomorrow, we'll have snacks and lemonade or something, and we'll sit down and just discuss all of the hard work that all of our employees have been doing here. So tomorrow at 5:30, and then in the other, I guess we could have even more of the councilman there, or the mayor, or whoever, as long as we don't have four. So we could have another meeting. So looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tobin. Anyone else? Give you a brief update of the opportunity this past month to attend a meeting that had both the governor of Arizona and the governor of Sonora. Talking about joint projects that are going on in our region. Very productive, able to speak with both of them after the meeting, and also spoke with the second in charge for NAPME, which was a good meeting and a good, he was surprised me with knowing so much about what they've done here in Douglas, and so put in a good word with some of the other things that we have in mind. Very personable gentleman. We've also met with the governor with other community leaders today in Sierra Vista regarding many issues throughout the county. One of the ones, of course, was discussing the Title 42, and the governor's staff is committed at this time, the governor himself, as far as the busing goes and the funds that should be there and being able to contract for that. We're also exploring any other possibilities, just by way of information. We explored whether or not we can use our city buses for that. We were told again today, no, you can't. So our hands are tied with that. So if it does become an emergency, I will solicit the council's approval to go ahead and do it anyway, and they can slap our hands later on. But hopefully it won't come to that. So far, it's been orderly. I want to assure the community that we're doing everything within our powers with our great relationships that we have with Border Patrol and Customs, with the county sheriff's office, and of course our local police department, to make sure that the community is safe and everything is orderly. The governor made a statement this day that over 90, what they're experiencing is over 90% of those seeking asylum have sufficient funds to get to their next location. So that's a good sign. So they know what their plan is, they know who their sponsor is, they know how to carry on and go forward from that. And whether we agree with it or not agree with it, it's the current situation, and we're here as a community. And I tell people, you know, cuenta con Douglas, because you can count on us that we're gonna do whatever we can to make that happen. We had an opportunity to meet with, our counterparts in Agua Prieta yesterday, along with the new Mexican consulate, stationed here in Douglas, Mr. Jorge Arguelles, along with our U.S. consulate that's stationed in Nogales that covers our port of entry. They're here with us. Also discussed many of the wonderful things that are going on. A couple of takes from that is that the Mexican federal government was on hand in Agua Prieta earlier this week, and it looks like they may even start construction on their side of the port of entry as early as next week. They expect a visit from their national president towards the end of the month. So hopefully kick this off a little bit further formally. So we of course turned right around and told GSA they're moving, so let's get ours moving a little bit quicker now. So we also received word this afternoon that the state has finally come to an agreement with a budget. And part of that budget that affects Douglas is $8.2 million for the connector road from the new port of entry up to Highway 80. We anticipate that road will be costing a little bit more, especially by the time they build it. So we will continue to seek funding for that. My understanding, I learned right, it was about 5:35 that they cut quite a bit of the projects throughout the state. Just for example, for our friends over in Nogales had a near $50 million project that got cut down to 8 for them. So I don't know what they're gonna do. Ours is guesstimated right now at about 14, 15 to be able to make that happen. So we have some work to do to continue with that. But we have, things are coming in line. Things are coming in order. It's exciting to watch. We'll continue to have tire kickers that are getting more serious about Douglas and investing here. So we're excited. And it's, again, I can't say it enough. It's all because our community has been positive about this and wants to go forward and realizes the great benefit that it will have in our community. So council is, we've been set out our vision. It's being realized and it's exciting to see that. Again, Douglas Days coming up. We're excited for that to celebrate. We've also been in contact, going back to Title 42. I've been received calls from and I'm not saying this just to act important, but I just want to let people know that our federal representatives are cognizant of what's going on down here. Senator Kelly's called, even Congressman Grijalva's office, Senator Sinema's office is constant contact with us. Even 2 other congressmen in the state of Arizona, Gallego and Ciscomani, have called personally to ask what's going on down here to make sure that they have a united front on behalf of Arizona, which includes Douglas. So it's very positive to be able to hear that their desire and their support. One of the issues is the possibility of declaring an emergency. We're looking at that as a community. We're not there yet. Mr. Fitzgibbon, our attorney, is working on to make sure that if that comes, that we're ready to go. But I also, we released a press release today, not calling for, but suggesting that it be on the table to be considered, because that allows funds to flow more freely. And it would be nice if it happened at a national level, which my understanding has to happen as a state level beginning and then on to the national level. And I mentioned that to the governor in our afternoon meetings. She nodded her head in affirmation. So that may be down the road, which will also free up that we can contract local shuttle services, et cetera, to be able to transport people associated with seeking asylum. So I would like to thank staff. They've been on top of this. You know, we're going 100 miles and trying to better the community, and then all of a sudden this gets dropped in our laps and still have to try to figure out how to keep everything else going in addition to be able to do that. So my hats off to them. And applaud them for stepping up and stretching, as I like to put it, to be able to handle all this. Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, please.
just briefly going back to council members, Morales and Shelton's town hall.
Yes.
The city clerk's office notice, there is a public notice on the website. In case, mayor and council would like to attend, and there is a forum. So we have a notice that you can be there. for the-
You want to come?
Great.
And you can chime in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for pointing that out. Awesome, Brad. Item number 14, adjournment. Have a motion to adjourn.
Mayor.
Yes, Ms. Morales. Is there a second? Second. Motion by Ms. Morales, second by Mr. Shelton to adjourn the meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Stand adjourned at 8:06 PM.
We're gonna take the